Okay, we're into the home stretch now. We're rounding third, and we're heading for home because all we got to do is just do the report for the U.S. Okay, good. So let's go ahead and fire up the report for the U.S. What? Okay. Okay, let's take a look at the U.S. numbers. Now, one of the things that's curious about the U.S. numbers is just a couple things that's curious. But anyway, uh, we count COVID-19 cases and deaths from the very first case and the very first death. Now, what's unusual about that is, if you go and look at other numbers like cancer and heart disease, the numbers are only counted on a yearly basis. So every year on January 1st, COVID-19 or cancer and heart disease deaths is reset to zero. But as you'll see, for the COVID-19, we track from the very first case and the very first death. So when you look at these numbers, keep that in mind. Since January of 2020, we've had 46.1 million cases. Since the very end of February 2020, we've had 748,518 cases. Now, currently we're averaging 71,029 cases per day, which projects out over the next 365 days to 25.9 million more cases. Okay? I wonder when we'll stop, just clinging to these, when are we to the point where we no one will care about the number of cases or deaths? I'll just be another statistic. Okay, now we're currently averaging 1,221 cases, deaths per day, which projects out to 44.5 million, 445,000, right? 445,691 cases over the next 365 days. Now we can look here for the 2021 numbers, a long, long declining pattern down to July. Then things just kind of went a little crazy back up here. Okay, is this Delta variant? I don't know. Is this just a wave of the? How many people are vaccinated over here? Okay, and what about deaths? Again, long declining pattern in deaths all the way up to July. And in July, we saw an increase in deaths. Through July, August, most of September, before the numbers began to fall back down again. Now, if you look at the monthly numbers, so we already know the answer to the question. We already know what the distribution is. Okay, so this is why we need to take these with this broadcast you watch is ended. Okay. Okay. I was watching a stream from Yuka on data. Is that what it was? Yuka on data. Okay. So anyway, I can see U.S. COVID-19 cases for 2021 past 2020s, and deaths for 20 U.S. COVID-19 deaths for 20 have uh, have passed 2020 deaths. Now, are we going to go into an endless cycle of COVID-19 seasons? Just like we have a flu season every year, are we going to see an endless cycle of COVID-19 seasons? And if we do, are we going to every time the season begins, are we going to shut down the country again? I mean, at some point, we have to get on with life. We cannot continue to allow this disease to completely control everything that's going on in America today. Certainly not. Certainly cannot allow the politicians to continue to use it to control, manipulate the American people. Okay? Deaths, quarterly. The third quarter of 21 was a quarter with was the third most had the third most cases for any quarter, and the same thing with deaths. The third quarter 2021 deaths was the third most quarter for any quarter so far for deaths. Now this just gives us a little bit of point and click numbers here. Okay. So you can see over here on January 8th, the U.S. cases spiked at 303,187 before falling down here to this 8,657 there, and then climbing back up to on September the 7th to 277,124 cases, and then falling back down. Then falling back down to 125,473 on November the 1st. Now, what about deaths here? Typical pattern, spike back up here in January, a long declining pattern down to here, with some days, deaths being under 200. Then we had this decline back up here to like September the 16th. This climb back up here to September the 16th before the deaths began to fall again. Now we can see the pattern here in the weekly numbers. Long declining pattern down in July, big increase in July. Did not catch this spike there. A big spike here. Now a declining pattern again for cases. Deaths, long declining pattern of deaths down to July, then July, like clockwork. Deaths begin to increase again. Now the question is, are these Delta variants? And how many of these people are vaccinated, okay? So you can see here again, deaths begin to decline back over here. What about monthly cases? You can see we had some good months. 1, 2, 3, we can see we had 6 months in a row when the numbers we've had 9 months in a row when the numbers were below the spike back over here. That's probably the best number we can look at for cases right now. What about deaths? Look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months in a row we had a decline in COVID-19 deaths. But now the last 3 months we had an increase. Okay. Now here's an interesting. This number is more of an interest. I'm not sure how valuable it is. It is another way to look at data. That is, for every 100,000 people, how many people currently have COVID-19 in the U.S.? The answer is about 25. Okay. For every 100,000 people, how many people are dying from COVID-19 right now per day? And the answer to that is about 1/4 of a person. Okay. So that concludes today's broadcast.